Hello, my name is Caleb Smith with the Rocket Miner newspaper, here to provide your news update for June 28th, 2020. We're starting our headline roll with Mississippi, which this evening, it's both houses of its legislature voted to remove the rebel symbol from their state flag. It's been a little while. It's got vertical red, white, and blue stripes. And in the top corner is the stars and bars. The governor of the state, um, who is Republican um, Tate Reeves, has indicated that he is willing to sign the legislation into law. That would immediately make this it no longer the state symbol. You may ask, what are they going to do with the flag up next? Under this law, there will be a state committee set up, including elected officials, um, and design committees who will put together a new flag that will go before the voters at at a later time. If the voters approve the flag, that's will be what they put up the flagpole. If they reject the design, they're going to take another year, present and come back and present another flag at the next election for the residents of Mississippi to um, vote upon and hopefully find one that fits them sooner than later. Elsewhere in the news, let's turn to coronavirus figures. According to the Wyoming Department of Health, we're up to 1,121 lab confirmed cases in the Cowboy State, with 296 probable cases, and we've had 20 people die COVID-19 related deaths, which we're thankful that the number hasn't risen for some time, for a few days now. More locally, in Sweetwater County, we've had one additional case since I last sat down in front of a camera, which we now have 74 lab confirmed cases and 8 probable. Um, Turning to American figures, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention note that we're now up to 2,504,175 total cases, which is 44,703 new cases compared to yesterday. Total death counts, this now sits at 125,484 people, which is 508 more deaths than yesterday. Worldwide, Johns Hopkins University is reporting 10,114,726 cases total. Global deaths has now surpassed 500,000, more specifically 500,882 cases. And recoveries is now at 5,123,312. One of the things that I'll admit I didn't personally grasp when the coronavirus started coming to our shores and severity started becoming more apparent. We started making more changes in our outlook and behavior. Is that I didn't fully comprehend one of the challenges that was coming and has arrived, is dealing with people with different degrees of comfort, of the safety steps that they're following or not following, um, of the risk that they're willing to put up with, or the lines that they, where one person is willing to subject themselves to certain things, others aren't, whether that's because of personal belief, family history, pre-existing conditions, what news sources you're depending on, um, so many different factors. It's there's quite a gap, and where you easily see this in online comments, um, maybe in conversations with friends, family, coworkers. In addition to, I've seen one or two minor exchanges of opinions in person, and with a vaccine being months away, best case scenario, we're going to have to get better at um, negotiating these complications, and being and dealing with the stress and the frustration that comes out with that. We've talked a little bit before about mental health. This is something that we're going to need to make sure that we keep in the forefront of our minds, for ourselves, for the other members of our family, for some people who might be doing some more distancing right now. So I'm primarily pulling on resources from the World Health Organization and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, noting that right now there's just all sorts of just additional stresses that are involved with the restrictions that are in place, what has come already and what might still be coming. Governor Mark Gordon has indicated that there are going to be additional revisions to the statewide orders. We're not sure what they're going to be. Be watching for an update for that on Monday. And there are just some general tips that you can follow to not eliminate your stress. I wish that was an option, but to manage it, trying to get it to more healthier levels, easier to wrestle with. Amongst the tips are keep informed from reputable sources. Look for a trusted news source, primarily one that's been consistent. The example I keep hearing most often, and we've also chatted on these videos before, is the with recent unrest and protest and people flocking out the doors. I've heard more than one like, "Oh, is the coronavirus not a big deal anymore?" It remains a big deal. It's going to remain a big deal for a while. We want people to be informed about their level of risk, and even though there's been some times where there have been more stories focused on debate about use of force and making sure that we are communicating, engaged with the community, talking about what law enforcement expects of the public, what the public expects of law enforcement. For all that, we consistently still keep keeping you track of the numbers, reminding you of the same safety tips: washing hands, face mask, distancing, limited trips, all that stuff. Another tip in addition to keeping informed with trustworthy sources is have a routine. Try to get up or go to bed at similar times. Keep up with your personal hygiene. Eat healthy meals at regular times. I need to work on that myself. Exercise regularly. Specifically budget or allocate time for working and time for resting. You don't really want them to be bleeding into each other. You want to put some walls, limits, barriers up. Make times for doing what you enjoy. Maybe I should have put these two together. While health officials say it's important to be informed, keep in mind that you can overdose on news, especially some of the more fear-inducing kind. If you're getting anxious or distressed by the news, turn off the TV, close your laptop, put your smartphone down. Resist if you are feeling angsty, resist the urge to check the headlines it's in the middle of the night. This is one of the fun work hazards of those of us in the journalism industry, is that it's like being told not to keep looking into the abyss when it's your job to look into the abyss. We do a lot of trying to weigh the headlines on your behalf. And we'll keep doing so. Another tip they talk about is just stressing how social contact's important. If you're at home, reach out to other people, or even if you are right now going a bit more out and about, keep in mind the people who you know who might be a bit more limited, whether physical health, other conditions. Reach out to them. We've got the telephones, we've got our smart screens, other online channels. We miss physical contact. We better appreciate what a hug's worth now, or just a good hand, just a good old handshake or slap on the back. And we look forward to being able to return to those. But we still have resources that no other generations had to get connected. Please reach out to the people in your network. Especially, you might go through your history, like, oh, it's been a little while since I called so and so. I should call them today. Please do so. In addition to limiting how much you look at the news, limit how much time you're spending with your various screens, video games or whatnot. Make sure to take regular breaks. You need to find a balance. Same as social media. And also, where you can, look to promote positive and hopeful stories. Well, we at the Rocket Miner try not to be all doom and gloom. I don't think you can survive on a diet of that. There are going to be better days than others, but you should always be looking for hopeful stuff too. More advice is to help others, offer support to others, whether it might be being willing to pick up some shopping, putting a letter in the mail that's for somebody who haven't reached out to in a while, or just being there to listen. One other bit that's suggested is the support healthcare workers. Support frontline workers, those in the supermarkets or delivery people. Say thanks. Show thanks. Second one takes a little bit more work, but is more appreciated. There are all these people who are working hard to keep society going, to keep businesses open, to keep people healthy. They deserve recognition. Just be thinking of people in your life that you maybe, just because the regular humdrum of life gets a little bit convoluted, just think of somebody that you can text message today, that you can call, that, or maybe she's not online. If I want to boost her day, I need to write her a letter. Please take the time to grab the stamps, write out your thoughts. It is touching to know that to get that type of stuff, that you know that somebody cares. When it comes to being part of your community and reaching out, I would remind you that Green River is hosting the first annual Flag of Honors, which that will be July 3rd through the 5th. Over the July 4th weekend, there are going to be hundreds of flags flying at the Thomas Moran Park. That's right next to the Green River Chamber of Commerce. As part of that, the Chamber notes that they need volunteers to help with the flags. They need people who are free on July 2nd at 1 p.m. If you don't have a calendar in front of you, that's a Thursday. Just as importantly, and probably if they're like other events, I've always seen more people willing to set up than to tear down. They also need people willing to help on July 6th, also at 1 p.m. People who want to be part of this patriotic display are encouraged to contact the chamber. You can email pr@grchamber.com or call 307-875-5711. We're going to be talking about additional patriotic displays. July 4th is one of those holidays where, not that we aren't patriotic the rest of the year, but we kind of have a few more reminders and opportunities to show it, to give thanks, to take advantage of the freedoms that not everybody enjoys, that we ourselves probably don't always appreciate as much as we could or should. Anyway, this is Caleb Smith with the Rocket Miner newspaper, wishing you a good day and a safe tomorrow.